Welcome back. We are now on week 4 of Valencia Marathon training, so just under 8 weeks to go now. Stay tuned for the rest of the video to see how the training goes. So I'm back out again on Tuesday night for my interval session, but before we get into that, last night, as I've been doing on Mondays, I've been using it as a day to get some easy mileage in. So it was actually quite a long run last night. Not great weather, sort of tipped it down for the whole run. But I did 14 miles with Andy at just under 8-minute mile pace, which was a really solid run, and sort of another long run, extra bonus long run in the week. So it set me off on a good way this week that I've started. I've got 14 miles in the bank on day 1 and a really good start to the week. So tonight's session, I'm going to stick with the theme of last week's session. I did a 8 by 4 minutes last week, so I quite like going to time rather than distance at the moment, just to mix it up a bit. So this week will be a 10 by 3 minute session. I really like the 3 minutes because at my pace it's very similar to an 800 meter rep, and it's a good little session. I usually start at 6 by 3 minutes and then build up my volume. I've done some 8 by 3 minutes before, but this will be my first time doing 10 by 3 minutes. So that's 2 reps in now, done 2 of the 3 minutes. I'm going off a 60-second jog recovery, so it'll be 30 minutes in total with 10 minutes of recovery, so good volume session. So that's 5 reps done now, halfway through the session. You might notice I've stopped in between, so making a slight change to this session by having that static recovery, because I was feeling from about rep 3 that I was not really hitting the paces that I wanted to, and I wasn't really recovering between the reps. So I'll go pushing it quite hard in the 3 minutes, and then to recover in a 60-second jog recovery to then go again. I've been used to having a bit longer recovery doing this session previously, so hopefully this reset does me some good and I can hit some decent times in the last half of the session. Nice one, guys. Cheers. Well, it's nice to have a little bit of support in your session sometimes. It's very lonely running around here, so cheers to the lads for the shout out. And that's rep number 8 done now, so 2 to go. Really just clinging on at this point, just want to get that session done. So that's the session done, 10 by 3 minutes with that little break in between after 5 reps. So got through it. Pace wise, probably was expecting a little bit quicker, but with it being pretty much a continuous run, it's a decent effort on a weeknight, especially with 14 miles yesterday and the sort of training that I'm doing at the moment. I'll have to take it a little bit easier tomorrow and come back again for the tempo on Thursday, so check in again later. Good morning, it's now Saturday morning and I'm here at Parkrun at Roslyston, so just finished Parkrun. Time for a bit of a recap of this week's running. So I did finish that interval session on Tuesday. I then did a recovery run as I do on a Wednesday of just over 4 miles at a really relaxed pace, just to shake out the session from Tuesday, and then into Thursday. So Thursday is Tempo Thursday for me, and that went pretty well. So this week I had a 7-mile tempo, and I've made a bit of adjustment to the pace of how I'm doing these tempos at the moment, because I'm building up a distance. I want to try and hit these at 6:30s eventually, which will be my target marathon pace, but 6:30s is a little bit too quick at the moment for me to do a 7-mile run at, unless it's sort of in a race condition. So I did take that run a little bit slower and did sort of 6:50s for 7 mile, which I was pretty pleased with. That's still 3-hour marathon pace, so pretty good to be able to do that for a session this far out. I then took Friday as a rest day, so the reason for doing that, I wouldn't really like to take a rest day in the week, but I was looking at a mileage this week and I don't want to ramp up too quick with having a long run at the weekend of 22 miles that would tip me over 60 miles, and we've only doing 54 and 51 recently. I didn't want to jump it up too much, so I had a rest day Friday, and a shorter run today, so just 5 miles including park run today. So we're looking ahead to tomorrow's run of the 22 miler. So this is the longest run I've done on the block so far. I've done an 18 mile, then a 20 mile, and it'll be 22 this week. So I'll be looking at taking the first bit of it conservatively and then trying to drop the pace down a little bit like what I did with the 20. I don't want to run it too slow, be out on my feet too long, but again I don't want to go too quick and not finish. So yeah, that's the kind of method behind it, and I will take a bit of fueling on board this time. So I've been going without drink and fuels, but I will take hopefully some gels and some water at least, so we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Welcome back, and you're now joining me on Sunday on the wonderful Cloud Trail. So I'm midway through my long run. So remember, this long run is a 22 miler this week, and I'm on the second part of it. So I'm just over 14 miles in. I'm on the second out and back. I decided to do a 12-mile section to start with, take on some water back at the car, pick up my gel, pick up my GoPro, and then come out for this second half. So I've just got the 10 miles in the second half to do, and again only about 7.5 to go, so soon clocking them off. Feeling pretty good so far. If I do need that gel, I will take it somewhere between 17 and 20. Now the Cloud Trail really is a stunning place to run, so I have done a video going into more detail of the specifics of the Cloud Trail, which I will link in the description below. Now, as I'm just coming up to 17 miles, which is my sort of 5 mile out and back final turn point, I'm just thinking that I've really enjoyed the way this run has been broken up. So mentally, it's really helped being able to do 6 miles out and then another 6 miles back, knowing that I'll have a drink at the car, can replenish my snacks, and then go out again. I think that's helped a lot better than doing it on a big loop. It can be a bit daunting sometimes. You do set yourself a 20 or 22 miler and then you panic if something goes wrong halfway through. So this has really been a good run so far. Coming up now to the classic shout of a park run to go, so just 3.1 miles until I get to 22. It's a little bit of a Marmite one, this one. Let me know in the comments if it motivates you with a park run to go, or you find it just a little bit irritating. So I'm feeling pretty good at 19 miles, and I think that's got to do with having that water halfway through. So I don't think the gel's made too much of a difference that I've not had a gel. There's definitely the water which I was struggling with on the 20 mile last week, so I'll keep the gel. I'm quite tight, I don't want to see £2.50 go to waste just for the sake of it, so I'll make it home okay. So that is a wrap of this week's training. So firstly, it was a very solid week in terms of mileage. It's my first weekly mileage over 60 miles. I hit the 60 mile mark. I've included my 2 sessions and my long run, which is my minimum what I want to do for a week. So really pleased with that. Not so impressed with the paces on my sessions, but I have slowed these down, listened to my body and tried to do it more marathon specific, that I'm not too concerned about hitting the paces that I want. Those are sort of a 6:30 on the tempos and the probably sub 6 minute miles when I'm doing something a bit shorter on the interval sessions. So I'm not too worried about them at this stage, but I will try and get that speed back in the intervals and the tempos. So all in all, a very good week, and let's see how the next week goes. So we've got 4 weeks down now, 7 weeks to go until the Valencia Marathon. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.